Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready here for our next run, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, run by JupiterClimb. We like to let everyone know that we just passed the $100 mark, which is fantastic. Thank you all very much. And now, without further ado, I will pass it over to JupiterClimb with Castlevania Aria of Sorrow Glitchless.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jupiter, and today I'm going to be running Aria of Sorrow Glitchless. This category was actually recently rerouted. So there's a lot to talk about here. It's definitely an interesting run. But I think we'll explain that as we go. So I'll go ahead and get started here on the timer. 3, 2, 1, start. So we're actually going to start off with a frame-perfect trick here. This typically takes me a few tries to get. Hey, nice first try. Excellent. Yeah, so if you throw that spear at the precise frame, you can always get that Bacillard knife drop. This is a huge weapon upgrade over the starting weapon. It's important we get it. Now, I would say this run is defined by a couple of things. Number one, it's got a lot of interesting movement, especially backdash cancel movement, like you're going to see here. It's also defined by its many manipulations. Every soul and item drop in this game can be manipulated. So rather than having to rely on luck, we can get all the soul drops we need consistently. Here's the first real minute of the run. I'm going to try to pick up this Creaking Skull soul from the first boss. Okay. Now, back in the old route, before it was rerouted, this Creaking Skull support soul was one of the most useful in the game. For the new route, though, it's really more of a supplementary soul. We're mainly going to use it to pick up the best soul in the game, Manticore Soul, from the second boss. Whoops. So, this is actually a good chance for me to talk about this skip. Normally, you're supposed to have flying armor to get up here, but if you do a precise backdash cancel jump, you can clip on the ledges, like that one there. It saves a good 30 seconds or so, where we're going down and picking up normal progression. So yeah, manipulations in this game work by using the suspend function. Whenever you suspend the game and reload, it always starts at the same RNG value. So if you act in the exact same way every time, you'll get the same result. Certain manips are easier than others. Some are frame perfect, some are sub-pixel perfect. Some give you a pretty good amount of leeway, so it really just depends. This next manip coming up, for example, is technically sub-pixel perfect. So we're definitely going to take a safety save beforehand, just in case something goes wrong. Alright, so this is the chapel. Pretty quick area. You'll notice that I'm attacking while I'm backdash canceling. This is called blade dancing. It's very slightly faster than regular backdash canceling and a lot more difficult. Alright, so here's our safety save. Gonna head down here. Suspend. And now some interesting trivia about this room. Because of the way the enemies are aligned here, the RNG is actually shifting every frame. So we have to hold left and damage boost to get a consistent result. Very good. Okay, that's perfect. So this Manticore Soul, I think it's often overlooked by casual players. We'll see in a second it turns Soma into a rushing demon, but it uses a lot of MP. So, in casual play, players will typically use it a little bit or not at all. In a speedrun context, though, this is the best soul in the game by a wide margin for a few reasons. Number one, its movement is faster, just walking. Number two, it does outstanding damage against boss fights. And number three, it's actually quite useful for RNG manipulations. Just let me show off what it looks like here. So yeah, you can see quite strong and quite fast. Whenever you activate a transformation, though, it burns through several random numbers at once. So what that does is it makes certain manipulation setups possible in real time that otherwise wouldn't be. So yeah, all around it's just a great soul. We're gonna see how good it is against bosses right here against Great Armor. Here we go. See, much quicker. We used to use Creaking Skull for that fight. Manticore saves a good 30-40 seconds on that one boss alone. Alright, so now we have double jump. And we're actually going to do a skip here, which is a little bit controversial. This is glitchless. But the difference between a glitch and an exploit can sometimes be fuzzy. In this case, we're just going to jump onto a platform. So it's hard to call that a glitch, really. But by abusing the fact that some of the platforms in this game aren't programmed properly, we can actually skip 2 full areas of the game, which is great. But it's definitely not what the designers intended.
Got a moment to plug an incentive here.
This is a great time, yeah.
Well, we just like to remind everyone with the naming incentives that coming up later today is you can name the wrestler for the WCW run. At the moment, there are no donations toward that incentive, so if you get your money in now, you have a good shot at naming the wrestler for the WCW run, whatever you want it to be, with a 24-character limit, of course. And along with that, later in the day today, in the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix run, we have an incentive open for the Lingering Will Super Boss at level 1. That's a $40 incentive that just has to be met before the end of that run. So if you want to see the Lingering Will Super Boss for KH2 or name the wrestler in WCW, be sure to get those donations in.
Okay, so right here we're going to come to that skip that I mentioned earlier. Normally you're supposed to have a soul called Undine, which lets you walk on water. But, if we're precise, we can just get up there like that. The reason that works is because the corners of platforms are a little bit rounded. Yeah, now we're here at the Floating Garden very early. Something to note, because we skipped so many areas, Soma's defensive equipment and stats are not very good. So enemies will deal a lot of damage, and it's definitely possible to die during this section here, so I'm going to be careful. But yeah, we're just going to be making our way up to death for a little bit. So any other donations or incentives, now would be a great time.
Well, we have none to read off yet, but I can remind everyone about the charity we're working for, Rise Above the Disorder, which is a non-profit dedicated to battling two greatest barriers to mental health care, which are accessibility and affordability. To accomplish their mission, they provide universal mental health care system to people around the world. Too many people can't afford mental health care, and RAD is working to change that.
Alright, so we're going to pop in here, take a quick safety heal, just in case. Like I said, very easy to die. I'm going to be also damage boosting off some spikes in a few rooms. Now, our sword is still the Bastillard from way back at the start, which is not really going to be good enough to fight death. Thankfully, we get this Mistletoe right beforehand, very convenient. This, in combination with Manticore, is actually going to make quick work of death. It's a setup I'm going to try to get for phase 1. Alright, so here we go. I think this version of Death has a reputation as being one of the tougher ones in the series, but as we'll see, this setup is quite good. Huge damage, and you can see that it stacks quite quickly with Manticore. And there's phase 1. For the rest of the fight, we're going to stick with the Mistletoe. Try to short hop cancel, get as much damage in as we can for attack. Okay, very good fight. And we come up all this way to pick up the School of Soul. This lets us walk underwater, and essentially opens up the second half of the castle. Now, in a few minutes, we're actually going to have our first double manipulation of the run. Up to this point, all of the manipulations have been single manipulations, so, I've created a suspend. I've tried to get either one weapon or one soul. We're actually going to have 2 double manipulations back to back for some really important equipment. Those are definitely tougher than the single manips, so we're going to do a couple of safety saves to be sure. So back to the start, we're going to head down now to the underground reservoir. Once again, we're still equipped with that leather armor that I picked up shortly after the first boss. So enemies will deal kind of between 60 and 100 damage a hit. Nice bad drop. Any random soul drop you pick up costs between kind of 1 to 1.5 seconds. You're actually trying to avoid as many of those as you can during a speedrun. Alright, so here's a neat little trick. You can damage boost to instantly reach max fall speed in the water. And there's our safety save. Getting lucky with the soul drops today. Alright, so we're going to be going for the true ending in this game. And this soul we're going to manipulate here is part of that true ending requirement. To access the true ending, you need 3 different souls equipped for the fight versus Graham coming up. Those 3 souls are Flame Demon, Giant Bat, and Succubus. Now we're going to be picking up Giant Bat automatically. It's a required progression soul, it gives us flight. But the other 2 we're going to have to manipulate. Here's the first one. We're going to see how Manticore can be useful in these manipulations right now. Okay, very nice. That gives us both the Flame Demon Sword, the Flame Demon Soul, and a fire sword called the Levitain. The Levitain is actually one of the best swords in the game. We'll be using that a lot against most bosses, up to and including the final boss. Alright, so this is the arena. Very scary area. Very easy to get knocked around here. Let me quickly check my experience. Okay, so I can kill 2 of these gargoyles. I'm looking to beat a specific experience value for the upcoming double minute. Let me go ahead and heal. So next up, we're going to try to get another sword and another soul from these lubricant enemies on the right. Equip the Levitain and suspend. This one's also pretty tough. There's the first part. Okay. So that Muramasa sword is an overhead swinging weapon. It's very fast, and it can double and triple hit, which is very useful against bosses like Balor right here. Lubricant Soul is quite interesting. As Soma's HP decreases, the damage boost from Lubricant increases. So in a speedrun, we'll try to be at, 1 HP for the rest of the game. Since this is a marathon, I'm going to just take a couple of hits here, intentionally, get the damage up a bit. That was a little bit too much damage. Let's use that other potion. Okay. So yeah, without lubricant, I would have been doing, 30 some damage there, maybe 40. So it's a big increase.
The old
Alright, now that we have Giant Bat.
Strat.
Now that we have Giant Bat, we're going to be making our way up to the top floor. That's where we're going to find Graham and where we're going to unlock the true end. Once again, this is a bit of a backtrack. Do any additional comments on donations or incentives? That's perfect.
None to add yet, but we are still looking for some of our first donations into that Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Lingering Will Super Boss. That's a $40 donation incentive that we would love to meet before that, but that's not until later in the day. A little bit sooner is naming the wrestler for the WCW run, where all you have to do is donate, and in your donation comment, put the name of the wrestler or put the name you would like our wrestler to be named. And at the moment, the first donation is going to be the one in the lead. So if you've got a good spicy name on your brain right now, go ahead and toss it in.
Alright, well, so far, all the manipulations have been perfect, which is great. We do have one manip left, the Succubus Soul. Thankfully, this one is one of the easier ones. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it, but I very rarely miss this one, so we should be good to go. If not, I do have some backups. Nice. Okay. You know what, let me play this safe. No reason to get greedy here. Hang on. This is quite bad. Let me do this. Sorry, this run is great. I don't want to risk it on a death. All the manips have been perfect, so yeah. We're gonna go save. Thankfully, Mina over here will give us a free heal anytime we say hi. That was a close call. Boy, oh boy. Now we're fine. Okay. So back to the top floor. I'm gonna save again properly in a save room coming up, because I want to try and set up strat for the Graham fight. Alright, so that's how that room is supposed to go. I was a little bit low on MP the first time, which caused the issue. So we're gonna save. Now I'm gonna intentionally take some damage here from this red Minotaur. That's to activate the Lubricant Soul, increase my damage output. 4 hits. And yeah, once again, Manticore is really gonna come through. We're also gonna pick up this Mana Prism, which fully restores MP. We'll actually use this during the Graham fight at the midway point. Yeah, this Kier is actually technically a boss manip. We're going to manipulate his behavior. Just like a regular manip. See if I got it. It looks good. Now we have to equip our 3 key souls that we picked up. There we go, we've got confirmation. We are now on the true ending route. If I get hit by the laser, I can still die here, so I gotta be careful. Okay, and there's Graham. So you can see even late in the game like this, the Manticore Soul is still one of the very best options I have. It's really quite good. Alright, now finally, we get a proper armor upgrade. Dracula's Tunic is one of the best armor choices for Soma. Huge increase over the leather armor we had on prior. And now we're going to take a quick detour and go say hello to Hammer, who is the shop in this game. We did hit the incentive for the double final boss, the 2x Chaos fight. So I'm going to need to stock up on some potions here, big time. This sword I just picked up is great for selling. Yeah, as many potions and mind-ups as I can afford. Alright, I think we're ready. For the rest of the game, the main form of movement is going to be this Black Panther Soul. As you can see, it is very, very fast compared to even the best backdash canceling. It's a night and day difference. Also, Hippogriff I picked up allows me to fly just by pressing L, like that. Though it opens up some pretty interesting movement. Definitely save before Julius. This fight is pretty notorious. Again, I'm going to try to get hit twice on purpose here. There we go. Alright, nice. That was a good phase 1. On phase 2, Julius will start using all of his sub-weapons. Those can really hit hard, so I gotta be careful. Okay, nice fight. I was going to use those potions to heal up, so I'm going to try to save them for the final boss here. Let's save here instead. Alright, so this is the Chaotic Realm. It's kind of a mishmash of all the areas in the game. Some upgraded enemies to keep things interesting. Now, while we're going through this area, I want to talk a little bit about the incentive that was met. For the Chaos boss fight. For casual players, it's generally considered pretty easy. However, in a speedrun context, because we're a low level, because we don't have a ton of healing, we got some but not a lot, and because we don't have access to some of the best weapons, this fight is arguably one of the toughest in the whole Castlevania series. And that's just one. Thanks to everybody's generosity, we're actually going to be fighting 2 Chaos fights at the same time. And I'm going to quickly plug Fuse. Fuse is someone in our community who's been working on an updated randomizer for Aria. And this double Chaos option is a new beta feature for the rando. So if this looks like fun to you, you too can give this a try in the near future. Yeah, this might take me a couple of tries. Let me save. Oh, also, I could use Manticore here. As we've seen, it's pretty overpowered, but, you know, people want to see a challenge. So instead, I'm going to try to beat this boss using only the Levitain. See how that goes. Okay, just the blues left. Oof, that was some bad luck there. Alright, so that was phase 1. Definitely a step up in challenge compared to the original game. Phase 2 is really where things get crazy. I'm gonna focus here. Oof. Yeah, this boss has a tendency to combo Soma pretty hard. I'm in a bad spot now. I'm gonna burn through a lot of healing here. Alright. Thankfully we weathered the storm. One eye left. The way this works is for each of these eyes you destroy, Core's defense is lowered a little bit, and the Core is the real boss here. Okay, all that's left is the center now. Nice. Okay, that's time. Yeah, that fight is always pretty intense. Thanks again to everybody for donating for that. Hopefully it was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was incredible.